There lies 30 deep, hidden from the world for no one to peek. It sings a song so whimsical it's speechless, an almost sorrowful tone of a home lost to the world. In 1895, a particularly cold winter touched Connecticut. The below-zero temperatures with high winds and 10 inches of ice covered Gardner Lake. It was brutal, hard to handle for the common folk that lived there around the lake, but didn't stop Thomas LeCount from wanting to move his house right there and then. You see, Mr. LeCount owned land on the eastern shore of the lake in Salem, and he wanted his house there instead. So he hired a man in Norwich named Woodmansey. Woodmansey figured it'd be a lot less expensive if they moved the house across the ice instead along the road. So they began shoveling paths, got the horses and cables ready, and assigned the crew. On February 13th, 1895, about 3/4 the way across the lake, the 28-ton house slid into a snowy bank. Tired and seeing it was getting dark, the workers decided it would be best to dislodge it in the morning, when they had their energy back and to see in the light. However, their judgment was not in line with the Falls Mill. Falls Mill in Norwich owned the water rights to the lake, and unbeknownst to them, there was a house on the lake. So when they drained a great amount of water at the dam, it created enough space between the ice and the water. This weakened the ice, especially around the house, and by the morning the house was partly in the water. They tried to save the house but failed, and for a long while the house rested halfway in the water before ultimately sinking deeper and deeper until it was no longer rested upon the water top, and instead in the murky depths of the water. In recent years, divers have explored the house, retrieving all sorts of goodies from the location, until almost everything was gone except for the heavy possessions, especially the piano that sat in the parlor. The mystery of it all is the sound of the piano music that fishermen and visitors have reported hearing coming from every direction. Some say they know for sure that the music is coming from below the waves. People say it must be a ghost, playing a tune, though no one is sure if anyone died that day, but it is unlikely. It is not a dark tune, but a whimsical one. Weird New England humorously mentions witchcraft, since the lake is attached to Salem, but again, unlikely. Many say, in order to hear the music, it has to be at night, but there is a large contradiction to the story. Not only is it not well known, but people who have lived on the lake or visited it for many years have never heard of any music or the fact there was a house beneath the water. What do you believe? If you'd like to support this channel, feel free to check out my Patreon page. I create videos on cryptids, hauntings, abductions, serious killers, and much more. Come join the family. If you can't support me there, like, comment, and subscribe here. I also provide my PayPal out of request for those who can't afford to pay monthly and would still like to donate. I'd also like to thank my support on Patreon thus far, and I hope you all have a good night.